buddy? How you doing? It's been been a long time. Not really, but
finally done with finals, huh?
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah. Life kind of just looked me dead in my face. It was like,
is it good for you that finals is over?
100%. I fucking crushed this semester.
Okay.
Like, check it out. Physics professor was like, finals aren't really my thing. So here's a make something project.
School isn't really.
It's not. No, but the professor was she didn't say that to me. She was like, as a teacher, was like, I don't give finals because finals aren't really my thing.
Okay.
Okay. And then so she made a final project that
what class was this?
Physics.
Oh, okay, I was just gonna ask that.
And then my math professor was all like, since none of you really know your grade in the class, we're just gonna have you because she has a grade. Yeah. So she's like, I'm gonna make the final a 4-group final, and I'm gonna release it on Monday, and it's due at Wednesday at 10 p.m. So we had 3 days to do it with a group of 4. And then my English professor was like, just turn in a research paper, and that'll be your final. And so effectively, I was just like, I
thought you were gonna have one actual test though.
Yeah, which was my math professor. But here's the thing. I was like under the impression that my group was gonna be like, okay, let's all do the test, and then we'll all come together and we'll go over the answers and we'll see who's right, who's wrong. My group literally was like, do we just want to break up the test into parts? And I was like, I already did number 1 through 5, and they're like, all right, Kendall's part, done. I was like, really? It was the easiest 5 questions. So I was like, dope. And so they sent me the rest of the test. I just filled it out.
It was only 20 questions?
It was 19 questions, yeah.
So then Kendall did one more question than the rest of them.
Dude, not even. The guy so there was one guy who was like, oh yeah, I started at the back of the test. So he did 19, 18, 17. He made it all the way to 14.
I was gonna say, I'd be that guy that do them all. Because you know what I mean, I want like...
Steve's like, I want to make sure these are right.
I want to make sure they're right.
Oh,
I also want to know that I know what I'm doing on every level. You know what I mean?
I was like, so 3 of the people in my group had a check account. So there was just one dude who did 2 questions. He did number 6 and number 7, and he was the guy who didn't have a check account. So we were like, okay, dude, no worries. And that was my final. So I aced everything. And
check is cool though because it like shows you. Like, I'm not vouching for people to cheat with check, but like it's really useful because it doesn't just give you the answer; it shows you how the answer got there.
Exactly, yeah. That's my favorite part about checking that. But now the finals are over and school's over, I can just enjoy Christmas. I'm actually tomorrow. I'm gonna go buy a Christmas tree, like an actual real tree.
You gonna fit?
You gonna fit in your apartment?
Yeah, we're gonna move the cat tree.
You have a small one.
Yeah. It's good, yeah. We're not gonna get like.
Wait,
one
where are you gonna fit the tree? Oh, in the car.
Did you see the one in the living room?
Yeah, that big ass fucking tree.
We have a big one down now.
Wait, is that not big for you? That's a big tree for me.
Did you get a different one?
I might not have seen the tree in your living room.
There's one on the coffee table. So like
I thought you were talking about this. I thought I saw a tree in the corner. That was like a nice tall tree.
Oh, yeah.
I might have just been.
I'm not sure if it was true or not. I don't know.
Yeah.
I've been getting home and going right straight to bed. The last like 3 or 4 days, the last 2 days or so.
Dude, I actually went to bed at midnight last night. It was weird for me. Because I go to bed at like 6.
You go to bed later than I do, and I work till 3.
Yeah, I just remember like a few months ago, he's like, I'm gonna start going to bed early and waking up early.
You know why? There is reason.
Yeah.
Oh, because my roommate.
I didn't want to disturb my roommate. You know, I want to be a better person for him, and we were like, hey, be a better person for you. What the fuck?
Dude, no, it was
Don't pin it on him.
At the last couple of weeks, like he's not mad at me, right? But he's like high key getting over my bullshit. He's like, yeah, like how your alarms go off at 9 a.m. and then you sleep through every single one. And I was like, yeah.
You're that asshole, aren't you? You're that guy.
I honestly,
I'm gonna wake up at night, dude. I'm gonna wake up with only 3 hours of sleep, and you know you're not.
I know.
Just lying to himself.
Yeah,
the last couple of weeks, I just stopped sleeping.
Bruh, just pulling all nighters.
Yeah, I'd stay
or just
up,
taking naps throughout the day.
Yeah, I'd just stay up, go to my morning shit, and then I'd sleep until like 4, and then that was it. But now we're done, and now so I'm going to bed at midnight and getting ready for Christmas. It's gonna be fun. We're doing something for Christmas, right? We're not doing White Elephant.
No one said shit, so I don't know what's going on.
I was talking to Kristen about it, and we were thinking, which one do you want?
Yeah, because Austin brought it up, but no one responded. I gave dates for Steve and Kristen because I know Steve has Monday and Tuesdays are more free for him.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yeah, and then Kristen gave me dates, and I had my dates, and then you said when you were done with finals.
Yeah.
And Charles said whatever, but I guess it's just like the other two.
Me and Charles, we don't work, so.
I said Charles does work.
No, he stopped taking care of his grandpa a couple months ago.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah. Now he's just focusing on now he's about to transfer, so. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we'll figure it out.
No, I talked to Kristen, and we were thinking sometime in January, but before school starts.
Mm-hmm.
I would even do that. And we don't run into people's holidays they want to spend with their families.
Yeah, that's fine too.
Speaking of Christmas, it's really interesting because Christmas, and I think I said this on prior episodes, but it wasn't originally it wasn't a Christian holiday.
No, I know. That's something when I got older and I realized I was like, oh, so the Christians really just hopped on the bandwagon. It was like,
no,
hey.
literally, they just hijacked someone else's celebration of that day, and they're like, let's just make it Christian since that's the mainstream religion of the time.
We'll just call Santa Claus Saint Nick.
Yeah. Well, so originally it was a Roman pagan holiday, right? That celebrated the solstice.
Yes.
Yeah. So and they had all the traditions we do at Christmas, gift giving, candle lighting, even the trees. That was all for the Roman pagan holiday.
Now,
and we literally just went, let's just say it's Christmas, and you'll put the presents under the tree, and Santa Claus, Saint Nick will come down the chimney. Let's just make some bullshit about it.
It was what?
Just make some bullshit about it up. Then just sticker slap Christianity right on top of it.
I mean, okay, wait. So have you seen the movie Klaus?
Yeah.
On Netflix? I love it. It's this whole movie about Christmas and how they discovered it. How in this universe they discovered it. But they effectively, if you just watch it from a really realistic, cynical standpoint, it was just the postal service basically going, how can we make more money? And they're like, oh, I have an idea. Have everybody send everybody else gifts on this holiday.
Yeah. Just
because we can. And how did they find it? It's because they found a giant toy maker whose wife died, but his passion was making toys for children because he wanted kids, but he never got them. New? No, it came out last year. It's really good. It's really good.
I doubt it though. That's the same thing for St. Patty's Day. How can we get more people to drink on just a random day during the slow time of the year? We'll call it St. Patty's Day and just get everyone shit-faced.
No,
or Mardi Gras or Cinco de Mayo.
Right, no, every holiday, if you want people to celebrate your holiday, give them shit.
Yeah.
Give them a reason to get drunk, or just give them gifts, or some bullshit reason. But I wanted to ask you, since I don't know really much about this, what is the whole idea of being pagan? You know what I mean?
So I looked it up a few minutes ago, but
yeah, give me a quick.
But from what I remember, I'll go from what I remember, then I'll give you the textbook definition. It was just a religion that was not, I wouldn't say legal, but I mean back in the day,
right when persecution was just something you did on Friday.
Countries or sovereign states would have a national religion or a religion for that country, empire, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
It was the religions that they didn't deem worthy in the sense of if you're back in the day, right? You were what is it? If you were a Jew or not a Jew, it wasn't Christianity. Before Christianity came into play, that used to be pagan in a sense because if someone found out you were a Christian in the Roman Empire, you get persecuted.
Right.
The people would literally be turned into martyrs for dying for their religion, dying for their causes.
Right.
So the textbook definition is just whatever's not the mainstream religion.
And that's what being pagan is.
Mm-hmm. Oh, if you ever read it in the Bible, because it comes up in the Bible pretty often, he was a pagan, or we'd read in our religious textbooks. We all went to private schools. Pagan religions were illegal in that regard, of where you were, where you practiced it, you would be, at times persecuted. You could be jailed for it.
That's so weird to know. So effectively, pagan is just a slur where you just throw on religions that weren't mainstream.
Pretty much.
Wow.
Because you go, Well, some people wouldn't even know what to call it. Like, I mean, even Buddhism, right? Like,
Yeah.
Buddhism came out because of Siddhartha Gautama, Buddha.
Yeah.
Before him, Buddhism really wasn't a thing. It was a offshoot of Hinduism.
Mm-hmm.
So until Buddha came into the picture, like, they probably didn't have a name for that one either.
Yeah.
Like, what is this? Oh, it's just Buddha living his life. Well, let's put it down. Let's put it in a book and let's teach people about it.
Yeah.
Turn it into a religion. But dude, like, honestly, it's pretty interesting stuff.
I find religion interesting because it's this whole concept we build around the idea of like we're here in this mortal plane and we're scared of what happens when we die. So
yeah, that's a big part. I mean, religion is just a way to justify action a lot of the time.
Yes, it is.
You know what I mean? It's like, oh, like, is it okay to kill? No. Why? Well, if you kill, like, the soul separates from the body, and we don't want that because we want people living full lives currently. It'll taint your soul.
Right. I mean, killing is a big deal. If we're being real, like the idea of just straight death, not my cup of tea.
Yeah. Oh yeah, me too. But I mean, like, really, it's a way to form. There's a few things to religion, right? It helps you form a group identity.
Yeah.
You find other Christians or you find other, Muslims, and you're like, oh, we all believe in the same thing. We have to be like-minded to some degree.
Right. Yeah. Right.
So you build that community, that community identity within yourself, and then you give yourself that identity. Oh, I'm a Christian.
Yeah.
You'll hear people say that.
Yeah.
To justify things like, hey, I'm not going to do that because, I'm a Christian man.
Right. I found God.
Yeah.
Well, straight up. Like that Rick and Morty episode when they're on the train. They're all like, come on, Morty. Come on. We haven't prayed.
Oh, yeah.
And they're like, and then
wasn't that like a cheap shot of like Jesus literally came and saved us?
Right, like Jesus Christ literally saved us, Morty.
Well, it's funny because the end of that episode, right? Like Story Lord was telling Jesus everything about everything.
Right.
So it was like he was just walking there, like, wait, so, where does? I mean, if you think about it too, like Jesus wouldn't know what came before him.
No, like I
don't want to say he was a simpleton because he was a bright dude, but at the time, like, he wasn't like studying texts of religion of like past history. He wasn't going like, who were the Mesopotamians before me? Who were the Sumerians before me? Right. So like Story Lord literally was like, yeah, the name Yahweh comes from the Sumerian god and the Mesopotamian god meaning Yahweh, and they combined it to make the whole of what we now call God.
Right.
Yeah,
and he's not. I mean, like, that's why, again, I always am so confused. I kind of, like, stay away from religion. Because, like, my mom, she was raised Baptist, right? And then I was raised Catholic?
Christian. I don't know why you're looking at me.
We went to the same school.
Yeah, but
like,
me and him went to
the same
high
places,
school that was Catholic, but we didn't have a lot of Catholics in there. It's Catholicism, though.
It's Catholicism, but it's like Christian Catholicism.
Well, Christian's
a big thing.
Huge overtaking in that umbrella.
And Baptist is under that.
Right.
Yeah, and Baptists, Methodists, Presbyterians, Catholics.
For those of you listening at home, that's effectively how much the school system really teaches it. Yeah. Well, like, okay, so like, yeah.
Well, I learned on my own.
Exactly. Right.
I'll tell you that. I mean, like, but yeah.
Because they don't want to teach you like the whole. Because, like, my thing is, as I got older and realized what religion really is as a whole, and it's like exactly what you said, it's a sense of building, like, finding community and then, like, identifying yourself with that community.
Ties in with your morals, too, right? Right, we literally have the 10 Commandments. Don't kill, don't covet your neighbor's wife, don't steal, right? Don't bear false witness, don't pray to false gods, yada, 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 right?
Yeah.
Like, literally, it builds around our morals, right? We're like, okay, don't steal, so don't be greedy. How can we enforce that in people? Don't steal.
Right.
Don't get angry and don't, act out of violence. Do not kill.
Yeah.
But then there's also the other side of that whole spectrum where, literally the papal states sent crusades.
Yeah, that's
killing people to get the Holy Land back.
That was my biggest thing. Like, that put the biggest hole in their, like, whole concept. They're just like,
don't kill, but this one's justified.
Right, like, don't kill, but, hey,
let's
as the Pope.
all these people.
Right, like, high key. Like,
the Salem witch trials, right?
Right, yeah. Oh, what were you doing in the woods? Oh, I was going for a jog. You know, it helps keep me healthy. Oh, we don't like women doing that shit. You're probably doing witchcraft. Huh? That makes more sense. Yeah, like, nah.
Dude, you could probably just grab you like the bending pencil trick, you know? Like, just, look at I could turn this wood to rubber. Fucking kill that guy right now. Right the fuck now.
All of our houses in the rubber, all because he can fucking pinch it. No.
And she touched the rubber and she could turn it back.
Oh,
fuck that shit. She's messing with the composition of things.
I love it. Like here's my thing, right? Okay, my mom studied what's the one? The one Muslims. What's it called? Islam. Studied Islam for a while, right? She had like this thing hanging in our house. It was like a Muslim prayer.
That's happened with Muhammad Ali too.
Right.
He changed his name from Cassius Clay to Muhammad Ali because he switched religions and they had to give him a new name in that regard.
Right. And then
it happens, like people do switch religions.
Right, but then my mom, but she wasn't like looking for a religion to like set on.
She was a free agent, just like,
yeah, she was like,
who do I want to pick up? Who wants to pick me up?
Buddhism got like a nice temple out here.
Buddhism is pretty interesting though.
She loves that. Have you seen the little shrine she has? Haven't you? She has like I think she changed it now that the house is remodeled, but like in the TV case. Mm-hmm. Where we have our ancient DVD player, even older than that, our laser disc. She has like a Buddha statue and like $1 and some nuts and stuff like that, like to build a shrine.
Is it the Jolly Buddha?
Yeah,
fat Jolly Buddha.
Oh no! It's like the whole like
thin like Gotama is actual Gotama.
Yeah, it's actual Gotama. Yeah.
So interesting because like there's so many different stories of Buddha. Right, there's the one my uncle used to teach me. And he kind of looked like the personification, like Jolly. When I refer to Jolly Buddha, like you see him in like Asian barbershops and restaurants. Restaurants. Coins all over him, and he's smiling. His earlobes are huge. He's got this big belly, and he's just like. So apparently,
living his best life.
Yeah, no, honestly, but from what my uncle was telling me, so. Not a lot of credibility to it, but I really liked at least the meaning behind it was that before he got there, he was very thin. He went through a bunch of suffering, and he had to go through all that suffering to reach that jolly state.
I think that is accurate.
Nirvana,
from what I've read too.
But interestingly enough, Buddha spent like the actual man, Siddhartha, actually spent multiple years just meditating under a tree doing nothing.
Right.
So it must have been, I want to say, maybe a metaphoric thing, because like when he did that, he was avoiding temptation.
Yeah.
Right. So like that could have been, he could have personified it to temptations in this path of, he was fasting under the tree, never ate, never drank. He just like sat there and in stillness pretty much.
Right.
And he came out in this nirvanic state.
Yeah. Because I only know one story of Buddha, right? It's the one where there was that guy whose father was like, we need to keep him in the castle because we don't want him seeing the outside world because then he's going to get all these crazy ideas, right? And then he leaves and so he sees a sick person and then he sees a dead person and then he sees like a starving person and then he realizes, oh, life isn't this glamorous, beautiful thing I've lived my whole life. I would rather help these people than go ahead and move into this idea of like I'm going to become royalty and king.
Yeah, well, I was just going to say Buddha was before he became Buddha when he was Siddhartha, he was either I don't think a prince, but he was like very high class, like very high in the social ladder and. Economic status was just like he could have been set for the rest of his life and done nothing.
Right. Yeah. Right.
And he tossed that all away, tossed his whole status away, threw his ego out the window, and went, I'm just gonna meditate on this tree until I hit nirvana. And he did, and then he went to go. He didn't go and try and teach people, but people just gravitated towards his ideals.
Right.
Like how did you reach it? How did you get to that level? And he just went, just follow my path. Figure it out for yourself. I mean, I don't know what to tell you because it's going to be different for everybody. But this is what I do every day, and you can watch me. I don't care. Right. That's how nirvanic he got. He's like y'all can watch me. I don't care. Like, I have nothing to hide. Like,
yeah, let's just all have a good time.
We all have our light. We all have our shadows, and I can see both. And I, prefer to look with what I want. I see the whole picture as it is, and I'm gonna take what I want out of it. And so, like, usually, I want to. Again, some of it is like paraphrased, and some of it could be wrong. But at the same time, I'm pretty sure in my interpretation of it, it was a thing of like, I can see your light and your dark, and I choose to. Like, I can tell your actions based on, like, those intentions that you have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you can't hide your true intentions, and seeing both sides of the spectrum, I can tell when you're actually being true and when you're not. Yeah.
Right.
And the people who are usually gravitate towards me because they also want to reach that level.
Right.
And people who don't, I just, like, choose to avoid them. I keep using this phrase lately that, I want to say came from him, or like came from, again, it might be paraphrased, but it was like, no thing in the heavens or the earth can move me.
Right.
Which is true.
Yeah.
Right. You won't get moved. If you do, it's like the first law of physics, right? Newton's law. I think it's the first one, right? Like a object in motion stays in motion, but to get it in motion, you have to have an external force to apply.
Right.
A force to get it going. Equal or greater force to get it moving.
Yeah.
So in the same regard, like, same thing. Like, if you're gonna push and I don't want to be pushed, I'm gonna push right back.
Right.
Two objects are colliding in a vacuum state, right? Like two billiard balls, right? Someone's playing billiards in a vacuum.
Yeah.
No table, nothing. The balls collide. This one's gonna bounce this way. Gonna go in one direction. The other one's gonna go in the opposite direction.
Yeah.
So in that sense, it's true. Where it's like, I'm not gonna push you back, but I am gonna push you back because that's just how the laws of physics work.
I really just like to believe that, like, the whole of humanity kind of just went around was like, there are a lot of shitty people out here, but this guy, this guy's a pretty swell fucking dude. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna chill with this guy. You know what I mean? Like, look at Jesus, look at Buddha. Both of them were just kind of guys like, yeah, I don't want to be shitty. I'm not gonna have to spend my whole life just like, let me get this money and try to climb this ladder. They were just like, you know what? I think I'm just gonna focus on my own personal beef. Yeah, and be good to people. And people were like, holy shit!
Pretty much.
Groundbreaking. You know what I'm gonna do? Somebody get me a pen and some paper because I'm writing a fucking book. And
have you ever noticed that? Have you ever I hang out at the bar.
Mm-hmm.
I work there a lot. But people just get angry, and you're like, dude, if you just were just a little more patient, or just a little more understanding, or just a little more compassionate, a little more empathetic.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have reacted the way you would.
Mm-hmm.
It says something about you. Like, what was it that drove your rage to that level?
Right.
A lot of, a good handful of my security guards, past security guards, would come up to me and be like, yeah, man, I was ready to fight this guy. And I was like, why? Dude, what provoked you to want to fight him? Oh, he was getting in my face. I know, but if he kept a calm demeanor, if you were professional about it, would he have swung? If he did, that's when you, like Donna's saying, keep your guard down.
Mm-hmm.
And be like, yeah, he's not going to swing. But at the same time, if you can talk it out, why not?
Right.
If you can avoid that altercation, making your life even that much more hard than it has to be, just by being, a little more patient, a little more wise, a little more controlled.
But at the end of the day, right? At the end of the day, like, let's say one of these security guards was almost Jesus, but not quite. You know what I mean? I think there's still gonna be a fucking Judas guy standing in the background, like,
oh, always.
Oh my god, this man's gypped. You know what I mean?
No, that's how it goes. Like, it happened to me. I was literally one of my first days. Not even working at the bar I work at. I just went in with my brother. I just went up to random people who just want to start a conversation. Mm-hmm. I get into my metaphysical and I start bringing it to other people because I'm like, hey, do you guys ever think about this? And I went to this group and literally one of the guys came, interrupted me and went, I don't like you. I didn't do anything. Hey, how's it going? For some reason, I just don't like you. Oh, well, that's a shame. Can I still hang out here? And he was like, yeah, but I'm just no, I fuck you. And I'm like, all right, well, that's fine. As long as I can still converse and there's no I'm not invading you and giving you malcontent.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even when I left, he was just you seem nice, but I don't know, I just can't get around to liking you. And I was like, that's okay, I don't care.
I don't know. Like,
You tolerated me, you know, like.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever watched that show? I love it. It's like these aliens come down and they're like smart and advanced and everything like that. And they're looking at this guy, and this guy, he's a human. He's actually genuinely just like, why are you guys here? He goes, they're like, oh, we're gonna have a bunch of our family come down. We're gonna live on this planet. And he's like, oh, you understand? Like, this planet has a lot of shit. And they're like, yeah, that's why we came to talk to you. You seem like a nice guy. We're gonna actually, like, you know, follow your lead, see what you think.
We want to live in your neighborhood.
That's what they did. They're like, we're living in, they buy houses around here.
I mean, that's how you start a community, right? That's how you have to be individual, right? To turn inward and like, if you want things to look better for you, you have to be the example for that.
Right. But here's the problem, right? The whole time he's doing this, every one of the aliens would go up and be like, I don't know what it is about this guy, but just don't like this guy.
Yeah, right.
And they're like, I know you don't like him, but we gotta follow because he's genuinely, he's a nice guy. But everybody's like, I get what you're saying. Then they go to Vegas, and finally somebody goes, oh, it's your nose. And he's just like, what? He goes, yeah, just your nose. If I like, and then every single one of the aliens are like, oh, yeah, there it is. Yeah, get rid of the nose. I completely fine with the nose. Oh, no. That's like, you always gotta, and like, it sucks because like, if you're that guy, right, you're like, I can't change, well, I can, but like, I'm not gonna change my nose because you guys don't like it. But like, on the other hand, the aliens were like at least decent enough people to kind of go ahead and say, yeah, we don't like your nose, but high key, you're not.
Yeah, we can look past it. Something we can look past. Yeah,
we can move past it. It'd be good.
I mean, that's life, though, right? You're not gonna like everything about everybody. You can't fake your mind to do that.
And that's the whole way true. And you live in blissful ignorance, so there's nothing to not like about anybody.
Until someone breaks you out of that blissful ignorance.
I hope that never happens.
Do you want me to do that right now?
No. You're my friend. Why would you do that to me?
Because ignorance is not bliss.
To you, it depends. And ignorance comes in tiers. That's what I learned, right? If you have like me, right, you got tier 5 ignorance, right? You look at like a gangster, you kind of go like gangsters probably murder someone, and be like, he's just down on his luck right now, you know what I mean? Like, you give him a cold beer, you ask him how his day's going, I'm sure he'd feel a lot better, you know what I mean?
But then you have a realist like more me or Vanille.
Right. You're like tier -2 ignorance, right?
Yeah.
Like you're like.
But I mean, I was gonna say like. On the opposite side of that, like, knowledge is not how it's cracked up to be either.
Oh yeah.
You know, like they say, knowledge is power, which has some truth to it. But at the same time, like, you know, having all that knowledge puts you in that spot where like you just become a lot of the times like a cynical piece of shit. You know, this is how it shakes out. It's not that you mean to be a cynical POS, but at the same time, it's like, no, this is how the world works. At least the way I've seen it.
Right.
And, you know, I just don't care for that.
Like,
you know,
I think, I don't know the name, but like, there's probably a philosopher at some point.
I was gonna say, like, Nietzsche's, nihilism is kind of in that regard.
Like, but like, you know, like, there's probably a philosopher out there who was like, if we uncovered all the secrets of the universe, the guy who knew all the secrets of the universe, probably a cynical little bitch, because he understands fantasy's not a thing. Like, the mystical, like, oh, I don't know everything about you, so I want to uncover these secrets, and that's why I'm going to learn to appreciate you as a being you are. But if you knew everything about this person, you'd probably be like,
I don't know. Yes, there have been philosophers like that, but they've also countered their own arguments.
Right.
Because they're like, okay, well, that's like the outlook on the whole entire world. You know, like, that's if you went up to people that outside of your world, right? Your world is small. It always is. You know, you can only have so many people within it.
You only got the bubble you can get.
Right. Yeah. So the more you expand out of that bubble, the more you're going to, like, not like it because it's not your bubble. I'm not saying, like, don't travel into the unknown. I always am a proprietor of that for sure. But at the same time, you know it's going to be ugly.
Yeah.
But it's up to you if you want to clean up that ugly, too.
I mean, well, that's
turn inward. Like I said, I always say turn inward because, like, what you see in today's world, oh, dude, this world is garbage. Okay, well, you can be the garbage man. You can be a garbage man to help clean it up.
Right. I mean, it's like, that's the whole thing with, like, choice. But I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Right? You've seen Star Wars. Would you say Star Wars is effectively the Bible in space?
I've heard that argument.
I completely agree. 100%.
I mean, who would Anakin?
Sort of. Yeah, like
Anakin God? Is Anakin God and to Luke, right? Because he's literally the father. I mean, and God did smite people for the first Old Testament series, and then in the New Testament he's very benevolent. And in the same regards, like Darth Vader wasn't like, I guess he did. He killed Obi-Wan. Who knows if he killed him then?
He couldn't kill everybody except.
I know, but he was working under Emperor Palpatine.
Right.
If
Emperor Palpatine's Satan, right? I feel like Anakin.
Would Yoda be God? Like, who would be God?
The Sith
where are
also
the
have their own
characters
set
where?
of rules, right?
What?
The Sith also have their own
Yeah,
set
they have the dumbest fucking rules that there can only ever be 2 Sith. There's a Sith Lord and then its apprentice. Anyway, no, if Palpatine's Satan, then Yoda would be God, because Yoda from the get is like not looking at them like, oh yeah, no, we need to murk these fools. Like Yoda's like, listen, there's always gonna be Jedi and there's always gonna be Sith. It's just our job as Jedi to kind of look at the Sith and go, hey, oh boy, maybe not this time. Okay,
I mean,
a lot of Naruto talk to you.
Yeah, like high key, like that's his whole beef, you know, like that's Yoda's whole beef. He does the talk no jutsu, right? To everybody else, everybody who listened to him speak except Anakin. And by the way, I changed my mind. It's not.
No, I was gonna say, because like I've seen many medias, like animes, TV shows that pit that like probably like vampires versus werewolves, or like Seven Deadly Sins. You have demons, and then the Angel Clan got like it's always 2 sides, and it's like why?
If you actually look at the Bible, there's not even really 2 sides. It's just people who believe in God and everybody else.
Yeah, so there's 2 sides.
Sort of, but like
it's not black and white. It's literally 2 sides of a religion, right?
Yeah.
The people who believe and like who I mean, like, was it Moses and his people? It was them versus the Egyptians.
Right.
Like there's small instances of like group separations.
Mm-hmm.
You know, now in the New Testament it's the followers of Jesus and the non-followers, and that it becomes a little like those are the 2 groups, but it's a spectrum of them.
I'm leading to do another question.
Believers and non-believers.
I've had for a long time. So the slaves of Egypt were Jews, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Where along the line did they stop being Jews and started being Christians? Because if you look at the Bible, it tells you that whole story, and you're like, oh, okay,
Christ.
Right.
Right.
So like,
literally,
Christians
Jesus showed up.
Jesus was a Jew.
Right. Yeah.
And he went, I don't believe completely in, like, I practice my Jewish faith, but I don't believe everything in it, like, to its teeth. And I'm going to live my life because of God, not because of Judaism, because of God. Right. And so from that, it became an offshoot of Judaism, which was Christianity, I like what Jesus was saying.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not about all these traditional sets that we have. It's not all about like, the Torah. It's all about like all these like, you know, like celebrations that we do. It's more about, you know, who we are as people and what we're working towards.
Yeah. Okay. Still confused as fuck, but okay. Because
because Christianity is based off of Jesus, right? So once he died, that's when people started believing in all this. The way that he acted, that's different from Judaism.
Okay. But effectively, without Jews, Christianity would have never been a thing.
Well, without Jesus, right?
Right. So like we're saying like.
No, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
You're not wrong.
Okay. So that's
without them converting, basically. Yeah.
Right. Mormonism was the offshoot of Christianity.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I took a religions class back in Arizona, and it's just like literally just keeps unbroiling at yourself, and some reach dead ends, you know, like roots reach dead ends, and others just keep sprouting new things. Like Christianity just sprouts a bunch of, like I said, others from prior.
Mm-hmm. What about one religion where you worship rocks? There's like this new thing where it's like no, it's not. It's like a pagan thing. It's like people are getting back into witchcraft.
Oh, that's just witchcraft has a negative connotation, but I mean it's in that realm of it. Yeah, where it's not. You say rocks, it's funny.
No, because
that's like
they're crystals. Yeah,
crystals.
Yeah.
And tarot cards.
Yep.
Tarot cards.
I like a good tarot card reading every now and then, only on YouTube.
The best was when this school had the number of a mind reader, or like a hand reader person.
Oh yeah. So when I got my phone number changed, I had to get my phone number changed, so I got my phone number changed. But the thing is, Google had me listed. If you Googled my phone number, had me listed under this palm reader. And so I would get a call, at least maybe 3 to 4 calls a week asking for palm readings.
Would you give them readings?
Then after a while, we were like, we should start fighting with these people.
At one point, we let Charles's sister answer the phone call, right? And so she was like, I'm calling to make an appointment for a palm reading. And I feel bad that we genuinely like took that away, like took that business away from the palm reader. Usually I go, oh, sorry, wrong number. They have a new number. If you actually just go to their website, it's right there.
That's not so much work.
Right.
Good for you, though. Good for you that you do that.
But so Charles' sister went, oh, yeah, we're definitely that company, but I just want to let you know we've gone through some changes in the recent month. We no longer do palm readings. We do rectum readings.
Oh.
So what that means is and she was like, what does that mean? You're gonna come here.
You went from like, you got my praise to like, you're kind of an asshole.
No, this was not me. This was Charles' sister.
Why did you let her do it? It was your phone.
No. I don't know. I thought it was funny. So she goes, you're gonna come to our shop. You're gonna take a nice shit. We're gonna make sure your bowel movements are nice and firm, and then we're gonna read your shit, and we're gonna tell you your future. And the lady was like, what the fuck? And hung up. Yeah. And then she called back, and on speakerphone, she was like, what the fuck is this? That's fucked up. Like, she found out that we were not, in fact.
Yeah, so you guys are little assholes.
Hey,
like,
we only did.
It was funny, but
I put up with it for over a year before I finally let somebody go, let me fuck with them. And I was like, okay. If I put up with you for over a year, if I put up with your whole genuine audience for over a year, and then you guys still call me expecting me to just continue walking you down how to use the fucking internet, okay? I'm allowed to fuck with you at least once. If you're gonna genuinely call me to ask if you can put your life in my hands,
at least you're gonna just give them a reading instead of just like...
Yeah, at least I didn't go like, you're pregnant. Hang the phone up. You know I would've fucked with somebody for a long time.
I've never...
I'm a guy. Oh, shit. Yeah, you're gonna get pregnant.
When I said you, I meant you and your partner.
No, I meant you. When I said you, I meant you.
Did you wake up in a strange place over a couple weeks ago? Yeah, someone cut you open your belly, put a baby in.
Yeah.
Religion in general to me is just weird. It's just people, okay, right, this is partially my borderline cynical self coming out saying, you're just looking at questions about your existence that no one else can answer, so you're building this hypothesis and basing your actions off of that hypothesis.
Well, that's the same thing as like mythologies too, right?
Right.
Like, where did the origins of mythologies come from? It's really interesting, like how people have agreed upon stories of like myth and legend and these characters and where the names come from in and of itself. You know what I mean? Like Zeus, where did that name come from?
Right.
You know what I mean? Where did Apollo come from? Where did Jupiter? And then we named planets after it.
I had such a beef with mythology after I did that whole paper on Kronos. Because, like, high-key, Kronos wasn't a bad guy, okay? Kronos was this normal dude who
he was almost human.
Right.
He went, I don't want my kids to usurp me from my throne, so I'm going to stop them while I can.
Okay, no, but, like, do you understand how that story ties in with how they worshipped him? So initially he was the god of the harvest. He taught them how to farm, right? That was a big deal.
Well, yeah, because he's the god of time, and you need time to harvest.
No. Not even. That god of time bullshit was only added on like 100 years ago. They only did that because.
I mean, but like you think about it though, if you're the god of harvest, you need to have time in your wheelhouse for that to be effective.
Yeah, but like
because without that, what's there to harvest if time doesn't let the crops grow?
No, but like when Kronos existed and was worshipped, they didn't have a concept of time. Clocks and sundials weren't invented yet. So they didn't know time. They only knew harvest.
But that's what I'm saying.
Right.
He is the embodiment of time. if he's the god of harvest, right? Crops can't grow without time.
You're right, but crops also can't grow without the sun.
Well, right. But again, he is the god of time. He's not the god of sun.
He's the god of time now. What I'm
saying is that he's the god of time now. But for a harvest to be what it is, you don't need just sunlight and water. You need time for those crops to grow.
But what I'm saying
in a realm, he is the god of time without time really existing.
But what I'm saying is, if you went back to when they worshipped him and they were like, Kronos, the god of time, they'd be like, the fuck is time?
No, what I'm saying though, what I'm saying is they called him the god of harvest because time didn't exist.
Yes.
He is the embodiment of time.
All right.
They just didn't know what time was.
I see what you're saying now. Yeah, you're saying that when they
Did
called
you get what I was saying?
I was
You were like, Bob, we're agreeing here.
No. Okay, well, we're sort of agreeing here. I'm agreeing with the fact that because they did not have a word for time, they called it harvest, and once they figured out what time was, they were like, oh, Kronos is the god of time.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
What part are you disagreeing on that?
I was disagreeing with because I thought you were just getting rid of the fact that he was the god of harvest and you're revolving.
I was saying he is the god of harvest because they had no concept of time.
Okay, I thought you were saying
he was the embodiment of time that gave him that like patron of harvest.
Okay, I thought you were saying he was the god of time and that they just tacked on harvest.
No,
because of the fact that that's what they use time for. Okay. Anyway, so so we're on the same page here. So now,
no, you're on the same page.
Is that not what I just said? All right. Anyway, so now when he was being worshipped, what was fucked up was he was this god. He was initially when they brought him in as the god, as their patron god, right? It was the golden era. That's what we talked about.
The golden age, silver, and bronze.
Right.
Yeah.
But during this golden era, you know how they worshipped him? They sacrificed children to him. And that's where you get the story that he devoured his children to stop being usurped. That's why I fucking hate Kronos. Because he really was just this good guy who was like, check it out, farming and lifespans. Have it. Enjoy it. Move on with it, right? And then they went, oh, you know what we should do though? We should murk our firstborn children to this guy so we have better harvests. And then that's where they go, oh, now he became a dark god. And he ate his children. And then once his children liberated themselves, he was taken down. When in reality, people finally just said, we're not going to keep murdering our children to this fuck.
You know what's interesting? If you take it to just a conceptual level of just like, of their godliness, right? Their patrons, what they are, right? So now this time I'm going to mention him as the god of time, right?
Well, I agree.
I'm just letting you know because when he devoured his children, right? He devoured the future god of sky.
Yes.
Right? Who's fighting for power. The god of the oceans.
Right.
The god of the underworld. And then all the other female gods that would create more umbrella of children.
Right.
So in that sense, like if you think of it conceptually, time consumed the ocean, time consumed the skies, time consumed. Without time, like death wouldn't exist. Without time, the sky wouldn't exist.
Yeah.
Or like it would get devoured by.
Where the fuck was this? Like what? Last semester? Or 2 semesters ago, technically, when I was writing this paper and brainstorming with you, and you're all like, oh yeah.
You said Cassie had you on that, so I was like, all right, you got it figured out. I don't want to interject on what
okay, homeboy. I spent months going over how the fuck that. If you actually research it, a lot of research points to the fact that gods of time weren't even a fucking thing. And now you're like, oh well, if you look at it conceptually, now I'm like, oh, that concept would have been amazing in my paper last semester. Instead, I'm over here like, well, technically speaking. They didn't invent the sundial until after they stopped worshiping Kronos. So time wasn't really a thing, and the Egyptians actually discovered it first. What the fuck? Like that was like I literally would have been like, here's my proof and here's my theories, and instead I'm over here like, yeah, I'm just gonna slap myself across the face. Because every god of time I Googled and researched and looked into and spent countless hours trying to learn about dumb ass religion. I'm sorry if you worship that fucking god who has a twin that's supposed to be immortal time, and the fucking twin, the good god, got gypped, and now he's the god of death. Fuck that.
Is that
Is it Hades?
What?
No.
No, it's an obscure ass fucking guy. I can't even remember the name. The story goes.
Is it Enki and Lo?
No.
No, so it's not.
It's the story of this fucking guy. He was this god, right?
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful man, right? Apparently, and he got gypped into getting. He was lonely, so he was like, "I'm gonna have children," right? And he goes, "My firstborn son will be." He realizes he's gonna have twins. He goes, "My firstborn son will inherit everything I have." And so, what does the evil twin do? Literally cuts himself out of his stomach. He goes, "I came out first. I'm firstborn. Give me your thing." And so he goes, "Okay, fine. You're the god of immortal time. Everything we see around us, right? Time that will never end. Reality. That's what he's in charge of.
Like when everything decays into nothingness, you're still there.
Right, you're still there. But my other son, check it out. I'm going to go ahead and hook you up with like a timeshare in heaven. And when everybody in your brother's world dies, they're just going to go to you and they're going to have a good time. Deal?" It's fucked up, right? And you're the god of finite time.
I mean, again, it's so interesting how like those myths always like allude to like basic emotional, basic human reactions, right?
Yeah.
Like, you're responding with greed. I'm going to give you what you asked for, and I'm going to like it.
Exactly what you want, and you're going to hate it.
You're going to try and bend that reality and like come out first when you weren't meant to. Well, guess what? It's going to snap back on you one day.
Yep. And you look at it and you're just like, why the fuck you get pregnant? High key. If you're a god, you have the responsibility to make sure your domain isn't fucked. And you got lonely and now you have twins, and that's the reason you're dead.
Yeah. Well, I was actually talking to a friend about this. I don't know if I mentioned this to you guys, but so Zeus was always known to mate with humans and create these demigod hybrids, right?
Yes.
And to put it in perspective, right? Hades didn't do that. He literally just kidnapped his wife, who was the goddess of like not harvest, but like
she was the daughter of the god.
She was the goddess of youth, right?
Yeah.
And she was like plants would grow around her, so literally like the concept of the underworld takes your youth kind of thing.
Right. She was a fertility goddess.
Yeah, exactly. And then you have Poseidon, who had Cyclopes as his children, right? One-sided beings who don't have depth perception, no perception of depth.
Yeah.
Right, because that's why they live at the bottom of the ocean. There's no, you can go as deep as you want.
Right.
Your perception of that doesn't matter under there.
Right.
So in that regard, in that regard, it's really interesting because Zeus, gods we're known to be like these perfect beings, right?
Right.
They're just embodied in perfectness.
Yeah.
What is
Zeus? Six-pack abs.
Yeah.
Rules the sky and fucks everything that moves.
But I was just gonna say, in that regard, like even in their own realm, they weren't even perfect to each other.
No,
because he would cheat on his own wife, Hera,
right?
With humans, imperfect beings. He would cheat on a perfect being with imperfection,
right?
And it's really interesting to see that out of that spawned a child who had like this yin yang, like. You could be perfect or imperfect. You have a choice, and they almost blend it into like a perfect imperfection or an imperfect perfection,
right?
In the sense that like Hercules, perfect example, right? The only reason why he did any wrong was because he was caught under a spell of Hera.
Yeah.
He murdered his own family in a fit of rage, which was spelled onto him by the goddess Hera to get back at Zeus.
Right.
So he had done nothing wrong, but was getting the blunt of all these consequences. Mm-hmm. And instead of just going, yeah, fuck the gods. He went, no, I like my father enough, even though I met him, and he's a god and whatnot.
He abandoned me.
Yeah.
But I got superhuman strength.
But at the same time, like he goes, instead of doing that, let me do the trials that I need to do to, cleanse my sins and cleanse my wrongdoings, and he did.
Yeah.
He's like
he sits beside his
he was like above the status of God at that point in a room. Like he was mortal, but at the same time, that mortality taught him like how to treat humans right, how to how to be a righteous being, not even a righteous human or a righteous God, just a righteous being.
And can I just say, the karma of Zeus is so poetic. It's like, Zeus is this big fuckboy, right? This huge big fuckboy. And in my opinion, his karma is the fact that for the rest of eternity that our species exists, we're going to idolize his children and his brother's children because they came down and they did the shit that needed to be done. And him, he can go fuck himself as the guy who fucks everything that moves. And Poseidon apparently there's a large following of him recently.
I wonder why.
I think people are finally just kind of like,
because like his whole thing, and I think this is what, like, if you look at it, you have Hades, who is the eldest of the brothers, and he can't get a wife because he's separated from the gods of the Olympus because he has to take care of the underworld, which is a big undertaking, right?
Yeah.
It's the most populated place now,
Mm-hmm.
right? Any life that has come and gone goes into his domain,
Right.
So he has a lot to take care of. So he doesn't, like I said, he had to steal his wife because he didn't have time to even like work his fucking magic.
He doesn't have
He doesn't
the time
go to
to just show up and be like, I'm a sexy ass moose.
Just up of Olympus and just throw the shades on, just looks Jesus-like, and just like, yo, what's up? You don't have time for that shit. He's got kids to raise.
Right? No, like high fucking. He has a job.
And then Poseidon, like again, and this is kind of cynical in the looks of it, but like Poseidon created like a lot of cyclopses. But like when I come to like that conclusion, it's more like inbred kind of thing. Like, well, Poseidon wanted to keep. I mean, like water is uniform.
Yeah.
H2O, just those three components. So like in that realm, he doesn't want to fuck with anything else but water. You know what I mean? Like
right. That's why all his children are cyclopses, because when he has a child with a dryad, it becomes a cyclops.
Right.
When he has a child with a human, you get the demigod.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So like. I mean, you can't put the fire into somebody, so he just makes like cyclopses that live at the bottom of the ocean,
right?
Or in caves, right? Like Polyphemus, he's from the story of the Odyssey. But Zeus again has free domain. Anything under the sky is his domain,
right?
So like, if it's not in the water, if it's not underground, if it's not in the underworld, right? Not underground, but it's not in hell, underworld, then it's his for the plundering, and he literally plunders.
Right.
He just goes, I'm putting a baby in you, and this is happening.
Yep.
And then again, personification of like the sky, but also power, right? Lightning is a source of power.
Right.
Right. So in that sense, I'm putting power into you, so much so that a baby is going to come out.
Right. I mean, if my thing with Zeus and the other polytheistic religions where there are multiple gods. Again, me and God have a relationship of, I'm going to do my best to not be a piece of shit under the understanding and deal that he made with humanity. Say, if you're not a piece of shit, guess what? When you die, life looks nice for you. That's my understanding.
Now, when you die, what happened? Or what do you think happens? Because you said life looks better for you. So, do you live another life? Did your life? What do you consider? Okay. What do you consider life? What part of you is life? Is it your soul?
Life to me is what I can perceive as my own consciousness. If my own consciousness continues after this, then that's my next life, wherever it is. If I'm in heaven and I'm just a formless shape, or I'm reincarnated as a fucking flower.
What do you think heaven is for you?
Heaven for me...
Like, heaven's going to be different for everybody.
Right. Heaven for me, quite frankly, is wherever Cassie ends up.
There you go.
Quite frankly. As long as I got her by my side, shit's looking nice any which way.
So then you could say you're already in heaven.
Right. Because I kind of am. But as it currently stands, right, that's now. Now that I found Cassie. Right?
All we have is now, Caleb.
All we have is now.
The past doesn't exist, the future doesn't exist. All we have are the present moments we have.
Right.
So every time you're hanging out with her, that's heaven.
That's heaven, yes.
And every time you're not, is that hell?
It's not hell, because I know she's still there. You know what I mean? If we were
So you have foresight.
Yeah, I know at the end of the day I can come home to her. Now, if I'm reincarnated into like a bigger scale than just on this planet, right? Because as it currently stands, me now understands that this is a rock. And no matter what she does, she will be on this rock with me until she dies or I die. No matter what any of us do. As long as we continue living, I know somehow I can get to her wherever the fuck she is.
So you almost have a love that's transcendent of being.
Yeah.
Would you say that?
100%.
Yeah.
If Cassie died, I would still live under the knowledge that she does not want me to die just because she's not here.
Of course.
But after I die,
in your natural span of your life,
right.
after that expires.
Right. If some dude at some fucking gate was all like, I know you were really looking forward to seeing your wife again, that's not gonna happen. I'd be like, bullshit! I'd be like, bullshit. What did I do? What did I do that was so wrong that the one thing I fucking asked for after death can't be given?
You'd be the next Lucifer.
I guess.
That was the case, right?
But like,
am I wrong?
Yes.
Right, because Lucifer, in the history of God and Lucifer, Lucifer went, I don't think God's doing everything correctly. I think I have a better way of saying things, and I think I'm more powerful than him in that regard. Challenges him, and he gets smited. Almost, I think it looks more like a test. Right, of like, okay, you see if you could fix this and figure this out.
Gave him his own realm, and his own people to rule over.
God could have just went like, you don't exist anymore. Right. But no, he went like, I'm gonna send you to this dirt planet and like, let's see what you can do.
Right. Yeah. And he was like, I read this interesting thing about it where like if you look at Lucifer and the devils as in correlation to God, really all they're doing is rebelling against what God has already laid out. And and then it becomes a choice of whether you
they give you free choice.
Right.
Like you can't have without bad intentions, without like the devil's, devil in a red dress kind of thing.
Right.
Without those like devilish ideas and concepts of evil, choice doesn't really exist.
Right.
Well,
that's what they're trying to get at, right? If you look at an angel, somebody who just blindly follows what God believes to be right, you get this angel. But when the moment you are an angel and you go, I don't think so, God goes, okay, you're a demon.
No, you're not a demon, you're a fallen angel.
You're a fallen angel, right? And then if you do bad after falling, you become a demon.
Humans demonicize it.
Yeah.
Right? They demonize it.
Yeah, we demonize it.
But they're all they really are just fallen angels. And people are like, oh, fallen angels, they fell from grace. That means they're God, or they're demons and they're antichrist. I mean, in a sense, I guess they are antichrist because they went against Christ and God. But at the same time, they're really just face value fallen angels.
Right.
So they still have that angelic prowess to them. Yeah. Maybe they're still working in God's guise.
No, like, have you seen the TV show Lucifer? Mm-hmm. I know this isn't like any real talk about religion. I mean, like the show.
Yeah, I know of the show. I haven't seen any episodes of it.
But like, so they have fallen angels, demons, and is this?
That has been like an hour, bro.
Has it been like an hour? Oh, okay, I'll call it back after we're done. But if you look at that show, right, there are fallen angels, and fallen angels high key are just like, we're here because I didn't believe what God wanted me to do, and now I'm here. But now but there are a lot of other things God has said that I believe are correct, and so that's why if you don't, and then that's where you see why the demons and fallen angels don't like each other, because the demons are all like, no, everything God does is fucked up. And they're like, no.
Right. I agree with that in that regard. Because, again, same time, like, you could just be like, I don't agree with how God goes about things. Right? Oh, he's smiting who he wants to smite. Now he wants to be this benevolent, like, mysterious figure in the infinite sky.
Right.
And it's like, yeah, you know what? As a fallen angel, I want to be proactive in this development. I want to be a nurturer, not just an observer.
Like, I want to watch. I want to do my part to try to guide this species towards betterment, right? Yeah. And that's where you really get the whole of religion, right? It's like a lot of people saying, let's try to do our part to being better for our fellow man. And when people are like, why? A lot of people go, because it's the right thing to do. And they're like, who said that? It goes, the universe. But it's hard for people to conceptualize that, so we put a name on it.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, also in the same regard, it kind of just really fortifies our intelligence. Yeah. We look at animals killing each other in the realm of the animal kingdom. And we're not excused from that. You know, we slaughter pigs and cows for beef and pork and lamb for lamb.
Chicken.
Yeah,
turkey.
chicken. You know, we break eggs.
Fish.
You know, I mean, we're also in that realm of animal kingdom that, you know, still needs to eat other animals to survive. You know?
Right, yeah.
Like, that's just how it shakes out. But at the same time, like, we don't, I mean, it's less of a barbaric for us at this point.
Well, yeah, because most of us, talking to you vegans, just kidding.
Finish your thought. I want to hear this.
Most of
When you
us
started out with that, I want to hear this.
Most of us realize killing animals for sustenance isn't a demonic act, right? It happens whether we like it or not, right? If we got rid of every butcher shop in every farm across the planet, some motherfucker out there would still be like, fuck you, I want my beef jerky. Right? Right? Some of us get that.
Or like the cows and pigs would just get attacked by other animals.
Right.
Yeah, no, that's the thing is if we stop, like, what would we do? We have an overpopulation of cows and pigs, and they can't even defend themselves anymore. We literally are their caretakers. We are the shepherds of cows, chickens, and sheep. Without us, they would be, or they would already have been extinct.
Exactly.
You know, they have no predatory aspects. They can't run away like gazelles or deer.
Right. They're not changed like hippos.
No, they're just like, yeah, it's a wrap for me.
Really,
you take down these fences and we're all done.
We're just really, really tasty. That's kind of
I
what
might
we
as
do.
well have like a good life before I get eaten.
Right.
It's literally how it goes.
Like my thing, yeah. Like that's where I'm on the side of the vegans. I don't like how they're like, oh, we're just gonna keep them in a cage where they can barely stand for their whole life and then kill it. No.
Oh yeah,
Let it run out on the field.
I mean, that
eat your
ruins.
grass.
Honestly, ruins the meat too, because it stresses out those animals, and that goes straight to their meat and muscles.
Mhm.
And you can taste the stressness, and like you can taste the difference in free range versus non free range, grass fed and grain fed.
I can taste it. You know who can't? Vegans.
Which vegan did you so dirty, brother?
Yeah.
Vegans have never done me dirty.
How do you know that's a fucking vegan?
No one.
I actually knew someone who was a vegan in Arizona, and it was just so hard because we all would have barbecues all the time. This is this is definitely a tangential little side story. But she would come in with eggplants and stuff like that, and we'd all not look at her weird, but we're literally grilling hot dogs, burgers, and steaks. She's like, I got my stuff, just a few eggplants and vegetables, and we're like, all right, well, keep your vegetables on that grill because we want to keep this meat only. We don't want to contaminate your vegetables.
We don't want to ruin your experience.
Yeah.
It seems like you have a great time ahead.
You can join us in the eatery of it, but for your sake, we don't want to get the meat on your eggplants.
Here's some tree bark I freshly peeled for you. It's just no, it's not. You just
look at.
Yeah, it blinks because you don't know how to work its magic, right? Okay, quiet. You see the light, right?
Yeah.
Boom. Okay. You see it blinking?
Yeah.
Okay, now you see the light.
Let's see. Oh, it's red. Okay. All right. Let's see. All right.
You gotta learn how to sweet talk it. Pretend it's a lady. Pretend it's a lady. Treat it nice. Get its consent first. Maybe.
May I?
What if you added the consent?
Hey, remember, we're all just people out here trying to have a good time, and some of you fucks are impatient. No, I'm gonna drop that now. But effectively,
It's only for you. That's your lady.
No. Overall, right? I'm just glad to know that we do live in a world now where we are tolerant enough to kind of say, how do you believe in religion? And somebody can say, see this rose quartz? It gives me positive energy.
This guy's just coming after everybody right now.
What?
The vegans.
Okay, again, remember
attacking me.
half an hour ago when I said I was at level 5 ignorance just because? I'm a nice guy. It does not remove the ignorant.
So the ignorance went up during these episodes.
The ignorance went up and it's like, and somehow cynicism also went up.
I'm like level 3 cynicism, level 7 ignorant.
Yeah.
Tim was like, if you're not like me, you're fucking weird.
Yeah, join the religion of the ignorant.
No, it's very interesting to study different religions. So, like, if you ever dive into like Eastern religions, like Taoism, Buddhism, like Zen Buddhism, Hinduism, it's really interesting how similar and yet how vastly different they are.
Here's my thing. Here's the unfortunate bit about me, right? I did go into those things, but because I did it for a class, every single thought I had about it, I was like, this is just, because I'm doing it for a grade, and anything I do for a grade, I think is complete bullshit, alright? My entire path in life, my college performance is complete bullshit, because I had to do it for a grade, right? So when I was learning...
You're literally the opposite of me.
Yeah, no, the complete opposite. Because you're like, I'm learning this.
I don't give a fuck about the grade. I'm learning this, and the grades come.
Right.
And you're like, I just want the grade. I just
want the grade. I want that A.
I need that check.
You're right. No, like,
yeah.
I want that A.
I told him about the like, oh, it shows you how to do it. And he's like, oh, it does. Like,
no. I mean,
I'm just looking for the answers.
Okay. No, like high key. That's
backtracking fast as fuck.
No. I'm agreeing with him 100% because that's why I'm still in college. Because when I initially discovered Chegg, I was all like, "Oh, x equals 8, cool. X equals 8, turn it in," and they're all like, "Explain to me how to fuck x equals 8." And I was like, "Oh boy."
Explain to me how you go from this polynomial to 1 plus x equals 8.
And then I just go, the quadratic formula. And they're like, this is fucking statistics.
What's the quadratic formula?
Negative b plus minus the square root of a squared.
No, it's b squared.
It's b squared times a. It's b squared times c.
It's just
minus
b plus
a.
or minus the square root of b squared over 4ac. Yeah. Or is it 2b squared? Anyways.
It's 2b squared.
Yeah.
It's 2b squared minus whatever.
I was actually looking into that last night a little bit, and it's just interesting how, they get that from geometry.
Yeah.
Because, back in the day, we were just fed these formulas.
Yeah.
And the people just go, when you're taught, you don't question it. They go, this is the quadratic formula, and you ask why, and they're like, don't worry about it, it's just how it is. Yeah, I mean, that's what happened to me. I was like, how did we get the quadratic formula?
They'll go, a really smart man a long time ago sat under a tree for about 6 weeks.
They didn't even say that. They were just they did that, but they were just like, they discovered it back in the day, and, it worked, so here we go.
Who's the guy with the apple?
That's Newton.
Yeah.
You
I know you told your acquaintance too. Okay, hear me out. Until I got until just now, right? When you told me what the quadratic formula came from, I thought Newton just figured out all of math, and we just really.
I mean, kind of, in a sense, he was the one that helped propel it to its pedigree now.
That's the real religion, numbers.
But he helped.
Some people believe in numbers.
He helped to figure out the numbers of pi.
Yeah.
At a quick successive rate, right? People used to it started off as a slow little process, and slowly but surely it became easier to figure out more numbers of pi to a high degree of correctness to it.
Yeah.
So,
but on that note, understanding and kind of just all around agreeing that numbers are the only thing we should believe in, and if you are not a hard...
That's actually a religion of itself, you know that, right?
No, that's what you just said. If you're not a hard, cold, logical thinking machine like I am...
Wasn't he the one who came up with the idea of a levitating skyscraper so it scraped the sky? Wasn't
that me? No.
I think that was you.
No, I would.
I'm pretty sure that was you.
A dumb idea.
That was your idea.
Dumb idea. If I was gonna make a skyscraper,
we were 18, so we were 18, so we were 5 years dumber than we were now.
18-year-old me? That sounds like an idea.
You were so adamant, you're like, I just wanted to be an inventor, and you were like, here's an idea. Skyscraper that's literally scraping the sky.
cutting through our atmosphere.
How would you do that candle? Well, we have to make it levitate, right? And we're just like, how would we get in there? And you're like, well, if we had buildings levitate, obviously we can levitate too. And you're just like,
I don't remember this argument. I mean, this pitch at all. But we're gonna talk. We're gonna come back to this another day. And on that note, it's your boy Waffle,
and your boy Maui,
and this is the Zillennium Podcast. Couch Surfers.
Peace. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Oh yeah, happy holidays for those of you
non-Christmas.
You pagan bitches. Have fun with your rose quartz rocks.
And when we don't see you guys until then, Happy New Year.
And if we don't see you again, I'm sorry.